Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I thought that because menopause is in the headlines everywhere, isn't it? And being World Menopause Day and Awareness Month, it was worth popping on here with just 5 simple things that I think every midlife woman should know. If you're perimenopausal, that's the time before the menopause, or you're in the menopause right now fighting it, or you're postmenopausal. These are things I think that are helpful for all midlife women. So the first thing I think is to talk about our relationship with food. And you may know that I've been researching fasting recently, and that's everything from going on a juice fast or a broth fast to practicing what they call intermittent fasting, which is this delayed eating period. So intermittent fasting, you might see it shortened sometimes to IF on social media. There's also something very similar called time restricted eating, TRE. That's also the same sort of concept. And basically the idea is that you kind of almost really go down to maybe 2 meals a day, because you're creating a window during which time you eat. So for me, I tend not to eat breakfast. So my first bite of the day might be around 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I try and finish everything by about 8 o'clock in the evening. So ideally, just having an 8-hour window during the time that we eat, leaving the majority of the rest of the time for when we can rest and digest and give our gut health the best chance of recovery. It helps to support our good gut bugs because they flourish during those rest periods. And there is some evidence to suggest that intermittent fasting or this time-restricted eating is definitely beneficial for women who are going through hormonal changes. So that could be something that's really simple. You don't even necessarily need to change what you eat. It's all about the timing of when you eat and how you eat. And if you're somebody who likes to eat little and often, you find that that works for you, then fair enough. For me, I find that 2 meals a day, particularly if they're high in protein and good healthy fats, they are the things that keep us fuller for longer. And it's also been shown actually that during a time of our lowering estrogen, we can get more sugar cravings. So we tend to become a little bit more insulin sensitive, and it means that we're more likely to reach out for the chocolate bar or go into the biscuit barrel or whatever. So if we can actually try and minimize that or reduce the risk of that happening to us by fueling up with good healthy fats, keeping our blood sugar levels as stable as we can, especially early in the morning. So that's why your first bite of the day is so crucial. I always make sure that mine is something quite high in protein and healthy fats. So I might have eggs, for example, boiled egg or omelette, scrambled eggs. I might have some avocado maybe on a bit of sourdough toast. I might go for some full fat yogurt, Greek yogurt, for example, with nuts and seeds. Those are the choices. Gone are the days when I used to get up and grab a bowl of cereal or grab a piece of toast and marmalade. You know, I might save that as a kind of a treat for later on in the day, but not first thing. So looking at intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating can be a really sensible idea for midlife women. The other thing is to look at a different form of snacking, and that's exercise snacking. So ways that we can build in movement. So movement is just so important. It's so important for our mental health. It's really important as we age because we lose muscle mass as we age. We lose bone density. So sneaking in little pockets of very specific exercises during the day is really worth it. Of course, if you're a runner, if you're somebody who likes a real kind of high intensity training session in the gym, then that's great. You know, you can do that alongside. But, you know, for example, if you're waiting for the kettle to boil, you can be doing some countertop push-ups in the kitchen. You don't have to get down onto the floor. You can just literally lean against the counter and use your body weight. And these weight-bearing exercises are incredibly beneficial for muscles in particular. Doing things like always taking the stairs, walking up the stairs 2 at a time, maybe go up the stairs, go down again and go up again, just to give yourself that little extra boost. So it's ways that you can really think about using our bodies a little bit more. I'm afraid it is a case as we age, if you lose it, use it or lose it. And we do need to keep using it. And if we can push ourselves that little bit further, for example, get off the bus 1 step earlier, or park the car a little bit further away from the shops, and make sure that when you're shopping, you've got 2 shopping bags with you so that you can have equal amounts in your hands and load them up. Use that as your weight-bearing exercises, even, you know, as you're putting them in the car, do a few kind of bicep curls. Anyway, so exercise snacking is a really good way, even if you can't make a whole dedicated hour to yourself for exercise. Little snacks, little and often, really adds up. And it's consistency. Consistency is always the key. I always get asked what supplements I take, especially during midlife, and I think there are a couple that are really key. So magnesium, I don't know whether it's just my algorithm, but everywhere I go, I'm seeing magnesium. I'm seeing all the functional medicine doctors talk about it, all the nutritionists talk about it, new research coming out all the time about magnesium. It's an amazing mineral, a truly mighty mineral. And for so many reasons, we are getting less of it than ever before. It's being depleted from our soils. It's being taken out by food processing. And we know now that it's involved in 600 to 700 different biochemical processes in the body. Magnesium is involved with energy release. It helps the cells release energy. So every cell in the body is relying on magnesium. And there are lots of different forms. I've posted about this before. There's a very good article actually on Liz Earle Wellbeing if you want to know a little bit more about magnesium. A couple of different ways that you can take it. Obviously, you can take a magnesium supplement. This is the Strong Nutrients one. And interestingly, it says on it, de-stress and sleep. It says it all really, doesn't it? De-stress and sleep. Two things, particularly that midlife, menopausal, perimenopausal women are in need of. So it says here on the label, magnesium supporting natural energy levels. As I said, it's involved in these energy processes, helping to balance hormones. Yeah, it actually says it on here, so it shows how important it is. Reduction of tiredness and fatigue. Yes, please, I'd like some of that. Helping with muscle, nerve and heart function. Helping with cognitive function, so our brain health. We know that we need that, definitely. Protein synthesis and healthy bones. Also really important part of our bone health, along with vitamin D and calcium. So magnesium is essential. I take it every day. I particularly take one before bed because that's helping the muscles relax, and it's been shown to help encourage a better night's sleep. Sleep also such a fundamental thing. But the other ways that you can use magnesium actually is topically on the skin. This is another great British brand that I like. It's called Better You. This is their magnesium body butter. I use it like a body cream all over. It's a really good formulation. I really like it. And it's got shea butter in it, lots of good natural oils, bit of beeswax. Yeah, it's a really nice product. And they do other things. For example, this is their sleep spray, magnesium body sleep spray. Particularly good, you can use it on your legs if you get restless legs at night or even during the day. That can be a sign of lowering levels of magnesium and an indication that you might need a little bit more. So certainly worth checking that out. Practicing mindfulness. You know, I took a breath there. It's really important to think about our breathing. Breathing is so fundamental. We do it every day, millions of times. We don't think about it. But conscious breathing, and maybe you're watching this now or listening to me and you just think, oh yes, breathing. I sometimes catch myself shallow breathing. You know, I'm sat at my laptop or I'm engrossed in something and I'm aware that actually I'm not using my lungs to their full or anything like their full capacity. So just taking a moment. And not only is that helping to reoxygenate and help with blood supplies and all of that, but it's just taking a moment out of all the chaos and noise. And that can be really overwhelming, particularly if your hormones are fluctuating and you're feeling a bit sensitive, or maybe you're feeling a bit anxious or just generally depressed about the time of life. Actually taking a moment to show yourself a bit of self-love and a bit of kindness is really worth it. It doesn't have to be very long, but just that regular, great. Okay, I'm just going to calm everything now. You might have to remove yourself from a room full of busy people, argumentative people, stressful situations. Just take a bit of time out and see if breathing can bring you back into the present, bring you back into the here and now, bring you back into your body rather than just all up here in your head and all over everywhere. Sometimes it's nice to have a good smell to help ground you. I love lavender, so I use that very often. I've always got little bottles of lavender everywhere. And just taking a few moments to sniff that can be really calming and therapeutic and just take the edge off what is troubling you. And then lastly, I cannot talk about perimenopause and menopause without mentioning HRT, obviously. Hormone replacement therapy. Those three little words. Small words, but mighty and so important. And I know I've spoken a lot about that here, so I'm not going to go on about it. But just to say, we can do all these things and they are useful adjuncts. Absolutely. They're really important. HRT isn't going to make us superwomen in itself. We need to add all these little extras on. But it really is the fundamental pillar, looking after our hormone health in whatever shape or form that looks at. And I've got great podcasts. There's a brilliant one recently with Dr. Rebecca Lewis. I do hope you listen to that. There's another great one coming up all about specifically about cancer, including hormone-related cancer and HRT. So it's a fascinating listen. I know it's a subject we'll come back to time and time again. But hopefully, if you are struggling, you've downloaded the free resource. It's the Balance Menopause app. I've been working with them as well, so you'll find some of my content on there because they didn't pay me to do it. I just wanted to do it as a support to them. It's a free resource and it's global. So wherever you're watching me or listening to me in the world, you can download it and take a look. And they've got a great symptom tracker, which is really helpful when talking to your healthcare provider, your GP, your medic, about what you might need and starting those conversations. Something else just before I go, which I wanted to show you, if you don't already know it, on the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, we have a whole section. If you look under the shop section, there's a whole section of e-guides. So it looks like that when you see it, lots of different topics. But the one that I would draw your attention to here is this one. It's the truth about HRT. And if I tap on that, it brings up the e-guide and so much information in that. It's really, really, really worth it. I had a message from a lady who downloaded it and she said, I just wanted to tell you, Liz, it's probably the best £4.99 I have ever spent. So thank you for that comment. But just to say, it's been reviewed by top medics. It's not just me. I'm not a medic. I'm not giving advice here. I'm reporting on the information, assessing the data, giving evidence-based information. And there's a couple of just reviews I'd like to mention here, just because I think it helps to reassure, if you are thinking about reading it, that the evidence in here and what I've written is sensible and sound and helpful. So Professor Michael Baum, he was the lead breast cancer surgeon at the Royal Marsden. He was also the lead original researcher on tamoxifen. He knows a huge amount about women, female health, breast cancer, and of course hormone health and HRT. And he says about this e-guide, he said, Liz Earle's ebook does a brilliant job of safely steering the worried woman through this minefield, this menopause minefield, to a safe and comfortable outcome on the other side, which is great, isn't it? And then just another one here from Mr. Nick Panay. He's a consultant gynecologist. Not only a consultant gynecologist, he's actually on the board of the International Menopause Society. So he's somebody who reads all the literature and does peer reviews of other publications and studies. So he's really on it when it comes to information, credible, medical, evidence-backed information. And he says, as a healthcare professional who has managed menopause-related issues for many years, I strongly believe that the valuable information provided by Liz in her ebook should be essential reading for all women of all ages. And that's signed by consultant gynecologist Mr. Nick Panay. So I hope that these things help. I hope it's not too daunting, too overwhelming. So many good resources out there. Let's start the conversation below if you've got comments. Obviously, I can't give medical advice, but hopefully my team and I can point you in some of the directions as to where helpful information can be found. We've popped some links above this post, so there are clicks if you want to go and read more or listen to some of the podcasts or download some of the resources that I've talked about. But I wish you very well, and I'll see you here again next time. Bye-bye.